bit of both, but more on the side that like we're just gonna keep it pushing. There has been progress. We're not screaming and things aren't being thrown across the rooms anymore. But and we do like every now and then sit down and have like a good like 3 hour conversation that like fills me. I think I've said this to you before. I'm the type of like, let's have a really long conversation right now, and then I'm good for like a month and a half. So we'll do that. And um but our it's our personality types. They're just different. And like now at 22, I'm sitting here just like quiet on certain things where like sometimes I would point it out. Like I'm the type to like point out people's patterns. Like, you're doing this consistently, right? Do you want to change, or are we going to keep doing to the point where I'm just like, okay, yes, mom. If that's what you'd like, whatever. Yep. Okay. Because I can point certain things out or I can do certain things, but like until she realizes that she's not being attacked, and until she realizes that there's nuance in everything, until she fully grasps that and believes it, um, I'm very limited in what I can just say, just say out loud, and like you're gonna feel away, but like I think progress is when someone is able to understand that they feel a way, but for a moment, put that aside and address what's being said or spoken about, like what is here, you know what I mean? Because there's numerous aspects to any situation, but with her, it's a lot of the time it's like, this is what she's able to see. So this is what she's able to address. And a lot of what she is able to see has the filter of emotion over top of it. And so my personality type is opposite, where I although I feel things very deeply, I look at things from a wider perspective and say, okay, like, so what am I, how am I a part of this, how is this person a part of this, and like where's the middle ground here, what's extra and like what's truth. But yeah, that's where our personality types differ. So I just find myself having to just be like, I lately I've been like, oh, I'm so fed up, like I'm just fed up, like I'm tired. I'm super tired. And like, yeah, the repetition of patterns and habits, it can be irritating.
I'll add to that. For me, I think that like lately 2020 has been the year I feel like where everybody's kind of like reflecting more, including my parents. I feel that like I started therapy this year and I've been to like 4 therapy sessions. And to be honest, oh thanks, but to be honest, I didn't really feel like it was that useful. Maybe I didn't find a therapist that I connected with, but I truly think that I don't know, the work really has to be done for yourself. Like I know we need our parents to support us, but they cannot support us if we can't support ourselves. You know what I mean? And I feel like for a lot of us, like my parents in specific, like coming to a new country, immigrating, not speaking the language, having to assimilate to other people's culture, be on their own, not have any support, like that breeds a level of like if I can get through that, like the little minuscule things that you feel like you're dealing with, like is really irrelevant. And so I've had that my whole life where it's like, oh, if I want to go to therapy, I'm acting white. If I feel like I have problems, I'm acting white. You know what I mean? And so I don't know. I've never had depression. I've definitely had a tough year and have had low moments, but I would never classify that as I've had depressive episodes or anything like that. I feel like although I would get frustrated a lot of the times when my parents would dismiss any of the things I was going through, I feel like it's made me way more resilient and tougher. So it's like things that I feel like other people couldn't deal with, I feel like I could deal with that. Maybe that's not the best way to go about it, but I don't know. The conversations I've had with my parents, including for mental health, was like the fact that I'm an only child and I felt like I had to navigate a lot of things on my own. And I used to live like go to white schools and never see people, and there was all this like microaggressions, and people would call me nigga and blah blah blah, and all these things that I had to deal with that they just couldn't grasp because they never had that situation. Like them growing up was always around people that look like them from the same community as them, and whenever I bring these issues, they're just like, just go to school. You're there to study. Like that doesn't matter. Just ignore it. You know what I mean? And I don't know. they've definitely opened up and like more conversations have been happening. Definitely because I've cried in front of them and like had little episodes where I was just upset and they were like, "What the fuck?" Because trust me, they've never expressed any vulnerability. I've never seen any of them cry. I've never seen any of them be actually upset. So, yeah, I don't know. It takes a while to kind of chip away at that kind of tough exterior, but definitely I think that what we could take away from our parents is that we should be a little stronger. Like we shouldn't be that fragile. And maybe that's an unpopular opinion, but it's like when you look at like other people's lives and like the things that they deal with, it does humble yourself to a certain degree where it's like, okay, I just need to breathe. I just need a minute to take some time, reflect. But my situation can always change. Nothing is permanent. You know what I mean? And I definitely think coronavirus and all these things has humbled people and has made people more grateful. And so if you're more grateful, you're going to be happier. You know what I mean? Not to devalue what people are going through, but I for myself, when I've had time to be alone and count my blessings, I've been able to feel way better about myself, way better about my situation. And that in turn has helped my mental health. That's it.
I want to, I guess, as a contrast to Uba, because she's an only child, but I have 8 siblings. And I think that my siblings have been, it's just been such a blessing because they are the ones that, like, I can talk to my siblings about everything. And it didn't always used to be this way because of how our parents raised us. I mean, technically we're immigrants, but I mean, my parents had to leave home because of war, and like they just happened, they had money and stuff, so we never lived on like a refugee camp or anything, but like they were forced to leave because of war. And so I know my parents have a lot of trauma, like a lot of trauma, and I just feel like it's not in this lifetime that I'm going to be able to talk to them about my mental health. I feel like me and my siblings kind of depend on each other, and we've come to this agreement where if there's going to be any mental health conversations with our parents, it's going to be about them, because you can see in their mannerisms, just day to day, how they deal with bad news, all that stuff, that of course the trauma they've been through is still affecting them. So for us, it's more of a thing of like, we need to help them first. They like, and yeah, I don't know. I agree with Uba. I just feel like because everything is so, it's not permanent, and I've never been depressed, and I don't, a lot of things, like if my friends come to me with something and they're like, I don't know, like, going through it, in my head, I'm like, damn sis, just keep pushing. But obviously to them, I'm like, trying to be there for them and stuff. But like, I know for me, I'm like, this is like not even a big deal. And I think a lot of that has to come with like how I've seen my parents deal with stuff. I'm now realizing that they should not have been dealing with stuff like that. But it is what it is, right? Like this is how I am now, and it makes it easier. Like people tell me all the time, I don't know how you're doing this and that and going through this. I'm like I just am. Like I've grasped the fact that this is not forever. I'm not gonna be sad forever. I'm not and I guess the really difficult part with that is that like even though that's the lesson I've taken from my parents. Not to say that, some of my other siblings haven't, but I know that my other siblings, some of them anyways, struggle with their mental health more than I do. And sometimes it makes it difficult to understand them, because I'm like it's one thing